Welcome to FTC's Ecom Education vlog. My name is Mike Fleming, and I am the founder of Michael J. Fleming and Associates. We also are known as Sales Tax and More. And what I'd like to share with you today are some sales tax basics and why the most recent Supreme Court case, this South Dakota versus Wayfair that was decided on Thursday, June 21st, why it has such an impact not only on the sales tax world, but for e-commerce sellers as well. I'm going to use a term called Nexus. You may have heard of this before. And when we use this term, we simply mean some sort of link or connection with the state. And it's the link or connection that has to be present before a state can require you to collect its sales tax or pay its income taxes. And for the last 50 years, when we're talking about sales tax, there's got to be some sort of physical component to this link or connection. So we've disagreed as to what exactly a physical component is, but you know, people have been protected. Sellers have been protected. That a state just can't go out and say, okay, you know, you need to collect our sales tax because of this. There's had to be that physical component of this link or connection. Now, this case overturned National Bellis Hess, which is a 1967 case that introduced the concept of physical presence. And Van Quill in 1992 reaffirmed the need for physical presence. You know, this court didn't just overturn those two cases. I mean, they eviscerated the whole concept of physical presence. They said that the court should have never introduced it. It's an artificial construct. It actually creates problems rather than solves problems. So the court erred when introducing it. Now, what this opens up the way for is what we call an economic nexus. In other words, you can have a link with the state now just by making sales into it, you know, and that is an absolute nightmare. You could now have a responsibility to potentially collect tax in all 45 states that charge a sales tax, plus Washington, D.C. The state of South Dakota, which was, you know, going after Wayfair and utilizing this economic nexus, they had a threshold of $100,000 or 200 transactions. Now, $100,000 of sales in South Dakota, that's a lot of money. But 200 transactions, that could be a very small amount of money. Let's say you're selling $5 items, that's only $1,000. So, you know, you can see how this could get very disturbing. Now, some people out there are saying, you know, the Supreme Court's going to step in. Unfortunately, we don't have time to go into all the reasons why I don't believe this is going to happen. It may happen, but I just think the deck is stacked against e-commerce sellers, and we will not get any movement from Congress, or at least any movement that's going to appreciably help e-commerce sellers. We can, you know, for the Amazon sellers, they can wait for Amazon, but that's not going to happen overnight. I think that that's a 3 to 5 year process for, again, a number of different reasons we can go into when we have more time. At this point, there really aren't any good solutions. So I think we have to start resigning ourselves that sales tax is going to be a bigger part of our lives, and that we need to start planning and putting it into our budgets and into our business models. One of the first things that you want to do right now is evaluate your sales by state. The second thing you want to do is start counting the number of transactions that you have. And then the third thing is look at those states out there that already have thresholds in place. By the way, there's only about 23 states that we need to look at right now. Pretty much all the states are going to start implementing this, but it's going to take them, you know, some of them may be 30 days, but some of them may be a good 12, 14 months. So this is going to be constantly evolving over time. It's nothing to panic about. There are ways forward. We got to use common sense when we're looking at this. In the case I mentioned earlier, if your 200 transactions only equals $1,000, you know, who cares what the state says? If it doesn't make good business sense, then why do it? We have to use common sense when we're doing this. However, I think the states are going to be very aggressive enforcing not only this, but all the other types of nexus that are still out there. And if your sales are material in any state, your exposure is material, then I suggest you take some action and start protecting yourself. Thanks very much. I appreciate your time and look forward to sharing again soon.